Artificial intelligence and robotics is essentially made up of three disciplines. Robotic process automation, which is our ability to bring AI to the automation of many routine knowledge tasks. So work that is done by accountants, attorneys, etc., and the ability to integrate multiple data sets to drive a certain level of intelligence to them. The second dimension of AI is what's called cognitive automation. So the ability to supplement the individual skills with artificial intelligence. So the example we had in a recent HBR article was the use of optical devices to supplement the work of a flight attendant. So the recognition of a passenger, the insight about what that passenger prefers, etc., allowing a flight attendant to deliver a much higher level of personalized or customized services. And the third dimension is social robotics. We've all heard about driverless cars. Amazon, for example, has done some outstanding work with its Kiva robots in its factories. And automation of that sort, AI and robotics, essentially collaborate with human beings to deliver a much higher level of productivity and outcomes. There's much fear that artificial intelligence and robotics may spell the death of jobs as we know them. And so it's difficult to separate the hype from the reality. But one of the fundamental issues that I think we need to understand is the unit of analysis really isn't the job, because a job comprises of many different types of activities: routine, non-routine, highly contextual activities, things that are specific to a particular organization and its culture, other things which are much more focused on a particular profession. And it is those routine aspects that can be automated. So robotic process automation can take on many things that are done by marketing analysts, accountants, attorneys, etc. And so as we look at the potential impact of AI and robotics, our ability to discern and distinguish the routine from the non-routine, the things that are contextual from the things that are non-contextual, becomes really important, because it's only then that we can arrive at a true understanding of the impact of AI on work versus, I think, much of the current debate about how AI will change jobs. I think it's about changing how the problem is denominated. I think what we will see is organizations coming to grips with this new plurality of means for getting work done. As we look at how technology, whether it's AI, robotics, and the democratization of work, our ability to take work, pull it outside the organization, deconstruct it and distribute it anywhere in the world, those two factors are going to give organizations a whole set of choices as it relates to how they get work done. And it puts HR in a truly pivotal role of being able to guide business leaders on dealing with those choices and then understanding what each of those choices mean, whether it's using an employee, whether it's using a robotic process automation vendor, whether it's using free agents, using a talent platform. What does that then mean for the design of the organization, as well as the rewards for each of those different sources of work? As we look at the future with AI and robotics, two issues really come to the fore. One is reskilling. We've gotten used over the last 120 years to the idea of I learn, I work, I retire. That worked fine when we had jobs that lasted for 30 or 40 years and we could retire at 55, but we only had a life expectancy of maybe 70. Today, with life expectancy approaching 100, and the shrinking half-life of skills, which in some cases are causing a job to only have a shelf life of 10 years, our ability to continuously learn, so it's going to be I learn, I do, I learn, I do, and then potentially I have some time for leisure in between, as opposed to the sequential nature of our lives that we had in the past. Reskilling is going to be absolutely essential, and it's going to be critical that government plays a role in this, because any one organization on its own is not going to be able to take on the burden of continually reskilling its workforce. The investment is just going to be too onerous. We've seen around the world countries like China and Singapore where government is investing in at a pretty significant scale in the reskilling of its population. So as robotics takes hold in China, China accounts for 35% of all robotics patents. Government there is acutely mindful of the potential social disruption if in not having its population reskilled, particularly as they target the transition from being an export-oriented economy to being more of a consumer-driven economy. There's been a lot of interest and discussion about employee value propositions for the last several years, and as we look at this new plurality of means for getting work done, HR functions are starting to think about more than just employee value propositions, but what is the work value proposition? The introduction of AI and robotics into an organization is not something that's limited to the particular work it replaces. It actually has a significant impact on the culture. It has a significant impact on the employees performing various other tasks that relate to the use of AI. It's increasingly essential that organizations think about what is the overall work value proposition, whether I'm an employee, whether I'm contingent talent, whether I'm someone on a platform, whether I'm the employee of an outsourcer who is touching a company's customers. What does it mean to actually be part of this organization in all these different forms? And as AI and robotics become more of a central means for doing work, more of a sort of essential feature of the organization, how does that then shape the value proposition? So the notion of shifting from merely an employee value proposition to a broader work value proposition is going to be key for HR to think about.